10:34, and we have 56 right now under sunny skies, on our way up to 65 today, 75 tomorrow, 70 by Friday. It's at 10:35, and that means it's time for Chamber Cafe. Good morning, Lisa.
Hey, good morning, Dave. How are things over on that end of the world?
It's mighty fine.
You know, with radio, you could literally be almost anywhere and be recording. So I'm actually in Hawaii right now. No. Anyhow, welcome to Chamber Cafe. I'm Lisa Workman, the president of the Fergus Falls Area Chamber of Commerce, and we do this show each and every month, the first Wednesday of the month. And boy, sometimes that first Wednesday sneaks up on you, especially during a holiday week. But we will we'll take the holiday, and happy post-Labor Day to everyone out there working and whatnot. Today we've got a great show lined up for you. We've got some of our favorite chamber members joining us to talk about things that are going on in their world and ways that you can connect with them. Of course, if you want to find out more information about any of our members that we're speaking with today or about any events in the Fergus Falls area, I invite you to go onto our website at fergusfalls.com, click on the events calendar for things to do, or click on the business directory to learn more about our members. So you'll get connected to their websites and their calendars and all that kind of good stuff. So joining me on the show today is Michelle Anderson with Springboard for the Arts. Becca Dillon is joining us with Mother Goose and Beans, and Steve Skowgate's here with Productive Alternatives. Now, before we get into these great guests and listening to what they have to say, I would like to share with you a little bit about some information going on with the Fergus Falls Chamber of Commerce. Of course, with fall and after Labor Day, folks start thinking about fall activities and, you know, pumpkin spice, whatever you want, and things like that. But, you know, honestly, we've had a lot of people asking about tickets for Taste of Fergus Falls. Well, I got to tell you, it's not sold out yet. In fact, tickets do not officially go on sale until Monday, September 11th. For the first week, they will be available to chamber members only. And then following that, if there are tickets left, they'll go on sale to the general public on Monday, September 18th. Now, tickets are $35 a piece, or you can sponsor a table of 8 for $300. We do have limited tickets, and we are already starting to fill the list of who the food exhibitors are. So watch our website at fergusfalls.com for more details on that. And again, ticket sales will start on September 11th. Easy to remember that day. And we invite you to kind of stay tuned for that. The other thing that makes Taste of Fergus Falls so much fun and exciting and fun to be a part of is all the great donations that we get from our community members. So whether it's a chamber member business or maybe somebody that does jams or jellies or does artwork, or, you know, maybe they're they have tickets to a bison game that they'd like to donate. These are all things that make our Taste of Fergus Falls the Chamber's biggest fundraiser of the year, and it is our annual meeting. But as we all know, if you've been to Taste of Fergus Falls, it's really about the eating. So Michelle's nodding her head. So yes, Michelle Anderson is joining us today. Michelle is with Springboard for the Arts, and with Springboard, boy, Michelle, I gotta say, the story that was in the Minneapolis Star Tribune this weekend, or whenever it was published, I read it over the weekend. What a great story, and what a great explanation of what Springboard for the Arts does in Fergus Falls and what you guys are doing in the community. Just kudos to you and congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Springboard and then the big Kirkbride Arts and History Weekend.
Yeah, good morning. So Springboard for the Arts, for those of you who don't know, we are a community and economic development organization for artists. So we help artists make a life and a living through business skills workshops and career consultations, but then we also do a lot of community development work where we get artists involved with local issues. And one of those issues is the future of the Fergus Falls State Hospital. Artists have always been really interested in this building even before we started doing programs. And so this is actually our 5th year of doing the Kirkbride Arts and History Weekend. We launched it in 2013 when we got one of our first National Endowment for the Arts grants that article talked about in the Star Tribune.
Already been 5 years?
And it's been 5 years,
wow.
Yeah. It's hard to believe. So we have a really great set of activities on Friday, September 15th, and Saturday, September 16th. the activities take place both at the Kirkbride grounds and throughout the community of Fergus Falls. So there's everything from artist talks and special exhibits to a workshop on creating caring communities that the National Alliance on Mental Illness is presenting. So the whole Kirkbride weekend is just this multidisciplinary event that shows all the intersections between mental health, art, wellness, and historic preservation. Some of the things that I think I really want to make sure people come to is Saturday, September 16th. There's a lot of people in the community that remember Wally Gerzik. He was a patient at the Fergus Falls State Hospital, and some people remember him as somebody that biked around town with his cigar, and he also did a lot of beautiful artwork. He met Kirk Williams, who's a well-known artist here in Fergus Falls, during Kirk's time as an employee at the hospital. And so Kirk has had both Wally's art and art that they made together in his house all of these years, since the 80s. Wow. And he's always wanted to have an exhibit. So we helped him get the space at the Otter Tail County Historical Society and helped him do all of the hanging of the artwork and display. So on Saturday, September 16th, Kirk is giving an artist talk, and he's a great storyteller. So I really encourage people to come and hear about all of the art that him and Wally made together. So that's Saturday, September 16th from 2 to 4. Fantastic. And the exhibit is up already, so you can actually go check it out anytime. And then after the exhibit, we will head to the Kirkbride grounds, and there will be all kinds of art and music and performance that people of all ages can enjoy. A highlight is Bethany Lacterin, who's one of our Hinge resident artists, is doing a kite making workshop, and she's bringing a guest from the Minnesota Kite Society to come and talk about how to make kites. Who knew
there was a kite society?
Right, yeah. So people can come and make their own kite and bring it home and learn how to fly it. And so we're hoping for good weather that day. But the Red Herring String Band will also be playing some old-time music, and they'll have a collar with so people can square dance if they want, just right there in front of the building. And that evening, we will be showing a series of films. So we're going to set up an outdoor screen and show a bunch of films that have been made over the last few years about local stories. So Nick Nurburn, some people might remember that he made a film about the Fergus Falls State Hospital. So he's going to show that, but he's also been collecting some home videos from the area, so it'll be a way to see what people have in their collections. So lots of other things. So you can look at the schedule on our website, which is springboardforthearts.org, and then if you do /Kirkbride, you will find the whole entire list of events, which start on Friday, September 15th. So workshops, artist talks, exhibits, just all kinds of stuff.
Something for everyone at different times, different events going on, whether it's on campus at the Kirkbride or throughout the Fergus Falls community. And really a great way, to immerse yourself in the arts, the history, and the culture of what makes Fergus Falls fabulous. And again, Michelle, congratulations on all the work that you guys do to help artists be successful. Truly, Fergus Falls has the perfect mix of things, whether it's the hometown charm and unique downtown to being a place where artists can thrive, showcase their art, and lots of public art in the community too. So thank you for everything that you and your team is doing with Springboard, and for all the artists out there who are making Fergus Falls a great place to, just get culture.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, we are going to actually take a break right now. And coming back, we're going to segue into Steve Skauge. When we talk about mental health and mental illness and things like that, Productive Alternatives is an organization in our community that is making great strides with folks, as well as employment opportunities, too. So stay tuned. We're going to be visiting with Steve Skauge, and Becca Dillon will wrap up our show on Chamber Cafe today. So stay tuned.
The Prospect House and Civil War Museum provides visitors with a unique and comprehensive view of the Civil War, the settling of Battle Lake, and life in this Minnesota resort community leading up to the stock market crash of 1929. All documented in a vast collection of personal artifacts and archives kept primarily by one family.
Welcome to the Prospect House. This house was started by my great-grandfather, the last Civil War survivor in Otter Tail County. On a loom by a man for market. They did that sort of thing, men did that sort of thing in the off-season. If you're going to buy a suit in 1896, it cost you $11. You can pick out these different kinds of materials here, and if you wanted to see what you looked like, you just pull out the right paper doll.
Kay Wilkins Johnson was a talented artist and one of the charter members of Art of the Lakes Association.
This is my mother's bedroom when she was growing up. She painted every picture in here but one, and that's the portrait of her done by a fellow artist there leaning up against the sofa. It really doesn't do her justice because that's a picture of her in a little gold frame. She was very good looking and she had the personality of the Queen of England. She was very proper. But she painted everything else in here except for that one. Her watercolors are especially nice. Also in this room is her wedding dress on the back here, and pictures of my mother when she was a teenager down in front. The piece of cabinetry here is not an armoire, it's a Murphy bed from the old house that they had in Chicago. My great-grandmother's parents probably bought that for my great-grandparents so they'd have a place to stay. All of the particularly old furniture arrived here from Chicago in 1882 by train and horse and wagon.
Upstairs, the third floor remains as it was during the hotel years from 1886 to 1924. Stepping back in time, we discover the hall filled with original hotel furnishings and equipment, and the interior in its unremodeled state. Tiny rooms, old wooden floorboards, even the room numbers that Cap cut from a wall calendar.
This is the only part of the house that's still the old hotel, so I wanted to get the old hotel things in here.
In one corner, an assortment of hats, saved over many decades.
Hats were in for a while. You could wear a whole salad on your head and think you were in fashion.
The furniture in this room was placed here when Prospect Inn first opened in 1886. This old hotel room displays toys from several generations of children, some toys dating back to before the Civil War. In another room, we find an amazing doll collection.
That's my mother's bed in there, and most of the dolls are in the 1920s. That's when my mother was a youth. The doll room has got my mother's doll collection in it. Her paper doll collection is over 2,000 pieces, a lot of them handmade. The paper dolls over the bed are my grandmother's. They're the ones I like to play with. The colors on them are awesome. They date back to the 1890s.
The Prospect House and Civil War Museum is one of the most unique and interesting places I've visited. In one sense, it's a very personal story about several generations of one family. But it also provides an in-depth look at how Americans lived, worked, and played during this period. The collection is a work in progress as Jay continues to discover items in the house.
My great-grandfather, Cap, built this serving cart for the hotel. And on this serving cart are a miscellaneous collection of items that some of which I know are and some of which I have no idea. You can see a horseshoe here and half of an ox shoe there. Corkscrew, possibly for things for the hotel. A crescent wrench, an iron big enough to iron I don't know what. Silverware of my great-great-grandparents from 1827. This is a sugar cutter. It's for cutting sugar lumps for the hotel. I don't know what this ladle was for. I'd like to know. These are the old candles, kind of petrified tallow candles. A little bit of everything in here. These scissors are particularly unusual. I was using these one day and I said, well, what's with these? They don't cut very good. And on one side where it was all ground up, it said patented 1885. And I thought, well, that's not very old for around here. And I turned around and looked at the other side, and it says Henry Sears and Son, 1865. That's before Sears had met Roebuck, and that's my great-grandfather had taken two broken scissors and put the two halves together and made a pair of scissors out of them.
For more information on Prospect House and Civil War Museum in Battle Lake, visit our website at lakescountry.tv.
.46 and 56 right now in Fergus Falls as we're back on with the Chamber Cafe and Lisa Workman.
Well, thanks for staying tuned on Chamber Cafe. Pour yourself another cup of pumpkin spice something or another. That's what I'm going to call it. Joining us as we talked about, how there's so many things related to the arts and mental illness and mental health going on. There's also other things that happen in our mental health community. Even though the Kirkbride isn't currently being used as a hospital, we do have organizations in our community that are helping those. And Steve Skauge is here with Productive Alternatives. And Steve, welcome to the show. Glad you could be here today.
Good morning.
And, I think, during the break, we heard a little ad from Nelson Auto Center. And I just got to tell you, one of my favorite people in the Fergus Falls community was one of my coworkers at Nelson Auto Center named Gene True. Now, a lot of folks know Gino from biking around town, but I know Gino as one of the guys that he was a hard worker, positive attitude, and really had it seemed like no barriers. He got anything done. And you guys have worked with Gino for many years.
Yes, we have, and Nelson's been a great employer in that regard as well, and so we appreciate that. But we have a long history of working with folks with all kinds of disabilities. We've been around since 1959.
Wow!
So we have almost 60 years of history. Yep, almost 60 years of history in terms of working with folks with disabilities of all sorts. And, of course, our primary function over those years has been to provide vocational services, help people get employed, but we also do a variety of other things, including, as you talk about mental health, we operate a 4-bed short-term mental health crisis center in town here, which is designed to provide an alternative to hospitalization and help folks stay out of psychiatric hospital beds. Been a very successful program. We've operated for probably 7-8 years now, and it's a model that really works well.
And one of the things that with the Chamber of Commerce that we hear from our members and many businesses in the community is the lack of available workforce. And really when that happens, as employers, we need to be a little more creative, and we need to look at every avenue. And I think one of those areas where you guys excel at Productive Alternatives is bringing more potential employees into the workforce.
Absolutely. That's really our mission, and it has been for a long time, as I mentioned, but I think even more so now when there is a general labor shortage in the region, if not the state. We're really pushing the idea of, hey, take a look at the folks we serve, the folks with disabilities. There are many, many ways that they can fill job needs for employers. We're out there looking all the time for opportunities to help people get employed, and there's just a huge variety of things that we can do. We're always looking for that right niche, and so you bet we want to kind of help people think beyond the usual employees and look at some folks that they maybe haven't considered, and we've got lots of ways we can help employers fill those job needs.
Well, and I think one of the best things is that you can work one-on-one with the employers to say, well, maybe let's look at these 4 employees that you currently have, and are there things that maybe if you freed up a little time from them, by using one of, bringing in your clients, that could help them be more productive within the community or within their business.
Yep, absolutely. We're always out there looking for those niches that some of the folks we serve can fill. We also provide the job coaching that comes with that, so we help the employer and the employee be successful. That's really what it's about. And when we do that, we're not only filling job needs for employers, but we're allowing those folks that we serve to earn a paycheck, and when they earn a paycheck, they go out and buy popping milk and chips just like all the rest of us, and they tend to do it in town here, not somewhere else, and so it's a general benefit to the community in many ways beyond just the employment aspect of it.
A huge benefit. And I know if you want to see some of those stories, you've got some great videos that are on Facebook, and if you connect to Productive Alternatives, you'll see some of the folks like the Gene True and Ben at Home Depot. I just think of Ben and his babes that went bowling at our bowling tournament. Ben's babes. Anyhow, they're just some of the best employees, too.
Absolutely. We've got some great videos on that. We're also updating our website, which will have some of those videos as well, and it provides a good opportunity to see people in action, so to speak, but also, again, I think open people's eyes and minds to the idea of allowing some of the folks that we serve to get employed with any number of businesses around. And Fergus has always been I should also add, Fergus has always been a very community that has a very open mind about people with disabilities. Of course, a long history with the Regional Treatment Center. We talk about the Kirkbride and other things. This community has a long history of folks with disabilities of all sorts. We operate in 8 other communities across the state, and not all those communities have each have their own flavor. That's right. There you go. They all have a different flavor, but Fergus has always had a very open community in that regard.
Definitely. Well, Steve, too, like we talked about, with unemployment being so very low, we're looking at every possible avenue, and you guys really help to bring those who are maybe unemployed or underemployed, or maybe many folks, maybe they're simply unemployed because of barriers in traditional employment models. So in addition to the job coaches and the clients that you have out at places like Home Depot and Quality Toyota, Nelson Auto Center, and probably a wealth of so many more, Fabled Farmer, so many different businesses, but you also have employment opportunities within Productive Alternatives, too.
Yes, we have 250 employees, about half of which are in Fergus Falls area, so a little over 100 employees here in the community, and of those folks, right, we work a lot with Sept and Job Service to try to bring in some of the folks that we employ that maybe have some barriers, as you mentioned, to employment, maybe have some employment history issues or mental health issues, or you name it. Criminal backgrounds, there's a lot of folks, like you say, when there's a 3% unemployment rate, those folks that aren't working need extra help. They need some extra effort to get beyond the barriers of employment, and that's part of what our mission is as a nonprofit, too.
Yeah, so lots of great opportunities with Productive Alternatives. We want to thank you for all the work that you're doing with folks. And if businesses are interested in maybe seeing if there's an opportunity with a client from Productive Alternatives, they give you a call directly, or who should they get? Just call the office.
Just call. Yeah, that's right. I would be the least helpful person that they probably would find, but I know people. I know who to get to, and yes, absolutely. Just give us a call anytime, or stop by and talk to us about it. We got lots of options and lots of ideas about how we can get people employed. Well,
thanks to you and your team, and to all the businesses and organizations out there who are giving people a sense of purpose and an income, and we're going to give them an idea on where they can spend that income.
Absolutely.
So, thanks, Steve. Well,
thank you.
Places where they could spend that income and have some fun. Becca Dillon is joining us with Mother Goose and Beans. And Becca, it was opening weekend over the weekend for the big corn maze.
It sure was. We had a great turnout. It's always fun to open our doors for the season kickoff.
Literally open your doors and open up your yard.
It's right in our yard. So, we are excited to be able to do that and give the community, give our area, somewhere to go, something fun to do in the fall. I think we always try to thank people for letting us be a part of their memories and their traditions, and we mean that. This is our 4th year in business. It's our 2nd year with the corn maze.
Only the 2nd year? Mm-hmm. Wow, so last year was the 1st year?
Yep.
Truly amazing, too. I mean, wow, fun. I'm directionally challenged to begin with, so I just followed my husband and my son around.
We added 3 acres to the corn maze this year.
So it's bigger.
Yep. It's a total of just over 8 acres. We still have the 10 checkpoints throughout our maze, and it's smartphone compatible. So what that means is that you can go to a website, choose over 100 different categories, choose from over 100 different categories, and then as you're wandering through our maze, as you get to each checkpoint, it will give you a question from that category.
And it'll tell you which way
It'll tell you which way you should go or
shouldn't,
or
if
shouldn't
you
go.
right.
Yeah, it's fun.
It makes it a whole lot more fun. So you opening weekend. So tell us a little bit about when people can come out and visit the corn maze.
Sure. The corn maze is open every Saturday and Sunday through October 28th. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. are the hours. Our pumpkins and gourds and all kinds of fall decor that you need for decorating and stuff will be starting September 16th.
So after you wrap up the Kirkbride Arts
Come
and
on
History
out.
Weekend, come on out and
That's right.
start decorating for the fall.
And our freshly popped kettle corn is also available every Saturday and Sunday.
And I got to tell you, that kettle corn is to die for. We loved having you downtown for our Shop, Move, and Groove.
We enjoyed
this
being
summer.
there. It was
that
great.
was so much fun, and all the different flavors that you guys have.
Yeah.
Oh, so
My
good.
husband has perfected the flavors of kettle corn. Who would have thought that there's all these different flavors, and he's got it down, and people are responding. And so we offer that every Saturday and Sunday in our yard, like I was saying. Same type of hours as the corn maze, that 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
We should tell people where you're at, because I think a lot of people, if they've been driving on 59, may have been wondering.
And you may have noticed Bernie the Baleman. He's right in between Elizabeth and Earhart, and he stands there with a big sign that says Corn Maze, tells you exactly where you need to turn. You'll be turning west onto our gravel road, and there's plenty of fun little ditties. We call them little ditties for you to enjoy as you make your way to our home.
And that's truly, you're parking, and I think that's one of the best things, is that you're parking in your yard. Your family is a part of this, and that's the purpose behind this. So we should tell a little bit, being that we've been talking about workforce, kind of the reason that you're doing it, because I think that's what the story is so special and all about. No tearing up now on me. Tell me about the Mother Goose and Beans.
Well, I'm the mother, and
so she's got the most darling little girls, the Goose and Beans, and I just love the fact that she and her husband Pat have taken it upon themselves to help teach their kids about hard work and extra efforts and what it's for. And the funds that they're raising will go towards these girls' futures. And it's so fun because they'll be running around the yard and great picture opportunities. And
a lot of times they're not there on the weekends. We try to be mindful that that's their home, and they're just 5 years old right now, and we get nervous that they're gonna. There's a lot of activity in our yard, and they treat it like it's still their house. So a lot of times they're not around on the weekends. They're there for a couple of hours, and then we have them go with the babysitter.
So it's truly a family fun event, and thanks to you and your family, Becca, for everything that you guys do at Mother Goose and Beans. So many activities in the Fergus Falls area. We have run out of time already, folks, so check out the Chamber's website at fergusfalls.com. We will see you again next week. I'm Lisa Workman. This has been Chamber Cafe. Thanks for tuning in.